Hey students, welcome back to BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. As we are quickly finishing our course of Fundamentals of Management, we have come on to the third unit of the course, which is Organizing. Organizing is a core management function that turns plans into action. जैसे लास्ट क्लास में हमने समझा कि प्लानिंग क्या करती है और इस क्लास में हम समझेंगे कि ऑर्गेनाइजिंग क्या करता है. We need to understand that while planning decides what to do, organizing decides who will do it and how it will be done. So in this entire session, you will see that how organizations build structures, assign authorities, and maintain control. Organizing. Let's first try and understand that what exactly organizing means. This means arranging people and resources in a systematic way to achieve goals efficiently. हमने प्लानिंग कर ली है, हमारे पास एक प्लान ऑफ एक्शन है, बट उस प्लान ऑफ एक्शन को करने के लिए वी नीड पीपल. सो अंडर ऑर्गेनाइजिंग व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर अरेंजिंग द पीपल एंड रिसोर्सेज सो दैट द प्लान्स दैट वी हैव मेड कैन बी अकम्प्लिश्ड. It includes identifying activities, grouping them into departments, assigning duties, and defining authorities. Exactly organizing में हम लोग क्या क्या कर रहे हैं? हम पहले एक्टिविटीज आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हैं कि क्या काम करना है, हम जॉब्स का ग्रुप्स बना रहे हैं, हम ड्यूटीज असाइन कर रहे हैं, हम अथॉरिटीज को इस्टेब्लिश कर रहे हैं, एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दीज 4 activities, what we will do is we will arrange the people, we will arrange the employees who can be allotted these activities. Let's try and understand it with the help of an example. In your college, there must be different departments, let's say commerce, management, computer application, and we know that each department has teachers and they are assigned with specific courses. So that is what? That is nothing but organizing. Alright, so now let's understand the objectives of organizing. Whatever the objectives of organizing are, they are very practical oriented. Because when we are understanding the objectives, we need to understand that all the objectives are practice oriented. The very first objective is define roles and responsibilities. Why? So that everyone knows their jobs. और जब भी हमें पता होता है कि क्या किसका रोल्स, रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज और जॉब्स है, then it becomes very easy for every employee to complete and accomplish their tasks. The second objective is facilitate the specialization. Of course, अगर हमारे पास specialized लोग हैं, then it is suggested that we should give the work, assign the task as per the specialization of the different employees. For example, let's say that there is a manufacturing unit. So into that, the engineers handle production, the accountants manages finance, HR takes care of staffing. So we understand that each team specializes in its task, and so there is no duplicacy and no confusion of what and who has to perform what task. The third objective is ensure coordination. Coordination between what? Coordination between and among different departments. अभी हमने बात करी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट की. So the different departments could be the engineering department, the HR department, the accounts department. So there has to be a proper coordination among all the departments. The fourth objective is to establish clear authority. A very important objective that you all need to understand. Whenever the authority and responsibility is established clearly as per the level of an employee, then the employees are satisfied, they are happy, and they know that whom they have to report. So establishing the clear authority is one of the important objective of organizing. Next objective is optimize resource use. We have limited resources. We have understood that into previous sessions also. So these limited resources needs to be optimized and used more in a most efficient manner. Then is the last objective, which is achieve objectives efficiently. When all the above 5 objectives are met, then we are sure that we will be able to achieve all the other objectives efficiently, or the overall organization objective efficiently. Let's now talk about nature of organizing, or maybe you can also get a question on the name of features of organizing. So whenever there is a question on write down the nature of organizing or write down the features of organizing, you have to write down the same points. The first and foremost key feature or characteristic or nature of organizing is goal oriented. So organizing is always goal oriented. Planning mein we have defined the goal. Organizing mein what we are doing is we are trying to assign the roles and responsibilities so that the ultimate goal can be achieved. So it's goal oriented, it is serving the organizational objective. The next key feature is continuous process. This structure that we are defining in organizing, it evolves as the company grows. We are achieving the profitability, we are achieving the ultimate goal of the organization. So we understand that the company would grow, and as and when the company grows, the organization structure also grows. So we say that organizing is also a continuous process. The next nature or key feature of organizing is universal function. Yes, of course, universal means that it is practiced at all the managerial level. It is practiced at top level, it is practiced at middle level, and it is also practiced at the lower level. Because at every level there are different roles and responsibilities which each and every employee is performing. So we say that it is a universal function. Next one is dynamic. Of course, it is dynamic in nature because we need to adapt to the environmental changes. As and when there are changes in the environment, we need to adapt towards that. To explain this dynamic thing better, पहले जो organization structures होते थे, there used to be long organization structures. बहुत सारी hierarchies होती थी, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and it may go up to level 10, 12. And then came the change in the environment, change in the organization structure, wherein we had started talking about the flat organization structure. This flat organization structure was exactly nothing but wherein they had reduced the levels, so that they had reduced the hierarchies, so that there is less confusion, less reporting, and there is unity of command. Right, so remove those confusions from the organization. This dynamic is one of the another important feature of organizing. We need to keep on changing as and when there are changes in the environment. Then we say that it is based on division of work. Division of work means we are dividing the work as per the specializations of different people. So we need to have the coordination among the authority, whosoever is doing the work and performing various work and jobs and tasks. There has to be a coordination. The last nature of organizing is that it involves authority responsibility balance. जितनी हायर रैंक पे होगा उतना ज़्यादा अथॉरिटी और उतनी ही ज़्यादा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होगी एज कंपेयर टू द लोएस्ट लेवल इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो वी नीड टू क्रिएट दिस बैलेंस बिटवीन अथॉरिटी एंड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. एक एग्जांपल लेते हैं. लेट्स से दैट देयर इज अ स्टार्टअप who might begin with a flat structure, but as it expands, new managerial layers will be added. So that shows that it is dynamic, it is goal oriented, it is a continuous process, and we need to bring in the changes as and when required. I hope nature of organization or organizing is clear to all of you. Let's now come on to the type of organization structure. There are typically 4 types of organization structure: line organization, functional organization, line and staff organization, and finally committee organization. We'll understand these types of organization structure one by one. The very first one is line organization, wherein we see that there is direct authority flow. It is very simple, क्योंकि direct authority flow है तो जो decision making है वो भी बहुत quickly होती है. अब डायरेक्ट अथॉरिटी फ्लो का क्या मतलब है? इसका मतलब है दैट द अथॉरिटी फ्लोज डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम टॉप टू बॉटम. इट इज सिंपल एंड इट इज वेरी वेरी सूटेबल फॉर स्मॉल फर्म्स. जैसे कोई लोकल बेकरी है, वहां पे एक ओनर है, उसने डिसाइड किया, उसने इंस्ट्रक्ट किया बेकर्स को कि आज आपको ये बनाना है, एंड द बेकर गाइड्स द हेल्पर्स एंड द वर्क इज डन. दिस इज लाइन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. Next one is the functional organization. This functional organization is based on the expertise of the employees. So they make different departments, wherein different departments have related employees as per the roles requirement of that department. For example, there is a HR department, there is finance department, there is production department, and so on and so forth. So the roles and responsibilities or the work is divided by the specialization of the employees. हम hospital में जाते हैं, we see that doctors are specialized into their own fields, then nurses have their own specialities, the administrators have their own specialities. So this is the example of a functional organization. Now let's understand that what is line and staff organization. This function or this organization structure combines authority and advisory roles both. So here we see that there is a combination of command and the expert advice, right? जैसे फैक्ट्री मैनेजर है, वो सपोर्ट किसको, उस फैक्ट्री मैनेजर का काम कैसे चलता है? When he gets the support from the technical staff, when he get the advisors from the HR department, so it combines the authority and the advisory roles. When a authority works in combination with these specialized people, that is what the line and staff organization is. The last type of organization structure is committee organization. As the name suggests, committee means group of people, group of expertise. So here the decisions are always taken by the group or the board members. They collectively sit together and they take a decision. Let's say, take an example of a university where committees sit together, they decide on when the examinations need to be scheduled, what are the budgets for various activities that has to happen throughout the year. So this is the example of committee organization. I hope these 4 types of organization structure are clear to you. We have line organization, functional organization structure, line and staff organization structure, and committee organization structure. Giving you an exam tip here that this question generally comes in the examination. So again, mark it as important. Let's now come on to the next part of the unit, which is delegation. What is the meaning of delegation? This means transferring authority from a manager to a subordinate. Why? So that task can be completed efficiently. So this is what the meaning of delegation is. Let's try and understand it with an example. There is a principal and the principal delegates the exam duties to the teachers. Now what teachers would do? The teachers will handle the execution of the exam conduction. But here there is one point that needs to be remembered and understood, that the principal though has delegated the task, but the principal remains accountable for the overall conduct of the examination. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर हमने एक बार डेलीगेट कर दिया तो अब हमारा काम खत्म. My accountability still remains the same, right? To understand delegation better, we need to understand that it involves 3 key elements. One is authority, the other one is responsibility, and the last one is accountability. What is authority? Authority is the right to command. This authority will only be there with the person who is on a highest designation or maybe on the higher designation of each department. The authority remains with limited people in the organization. Then comes responsibility. Responsibility means the duty to perform. This responsibility is then further delegated from top level to the lower level so that the task can be performed. Accountability, again an important point that need to understand is that accountability means being answerable for the results. तो अगर हम organization structure की hierarchy देखते हैं, so जो top positions होते हैं उनके पास authority होती है, वो responsibility को delegate करते हैं, but accountability किसकी होती है ultimately? The ultimate accountability is of the top positions always. Right? Though the middle levels and the lower levels are also accountable to complete or accomplish their task, but the higher accountability remains with the higher designations. I hope the meaning of delegation of authority is clear. Now, what is authority and responsibility? Whenever there is effective delegation, we need to have a balance between authority and responsibility. If a manager gives responsibility without sufficient authority, the subordinates will not be able to perform. Conversely, if the authority exceeds responsibility, the misuse can occur, which is what generally happens and seen in the organization. कितनी बार ऐसा होता है कि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी दे दी लेकिन कोई अथॉरिटी नहीं है, आप डिसीजन नहीं ले सकते, आप किसी से काम नहीं करा सकते हो, सो उस केस में भी प्रॉब्लम आती है। और जहाँ पे हम अथॉरिटी ज्यादा दे देते हैं तो लोग उसका मिसयूज भी कर सकते हैं। For example, there is a store supervisor. He is given full responsibility for sales, but he does not have any authority to approve the discount. So this will lead to inefficiency. Managers must empower the employees to make necessary decisions while keeping accountability intact. That is more important. So this balance is very, very essential, that the authority should always be equivalent to the responsibility. And we have already understood the meaning of authority, responsibility, accountability in the last slide, that authority is the right to command, responsibility is obligation to perform, and accountability is answerable for results. This balance is essential that we need to remember always. Coming on to the next concept, which is centralization and decentralization. Now these two terms describe where the decision making power lies. कहाँ पे actually decision making lie करता है. There are organizations who work on the basis of centralization, and then there are some organizations who work on decentralization. अब यहाँ पे जब हम centralization और decentralization की बात कर रहे हैं, we are only and only talking about in terms of decision making powers, right? In case of centralization, the decision power concentrated at the top. Centralization, हमें इसी बात से समझ जाना चाहिए कि एक ही सेंटर पॉइंट है, एक ही केंद्र बिंदु है जहाँ पे सारे डिसीजन लिए जाते हैं और जहाँ से सारी इंफॉर्मेशन फ्लोट होती है. And comparatively, decentralization means the authority is distributed to the lower levels. हर एक डिपार्टमेंट पे, हर एक लेवल पे डिसीजन मेकिंग हो सकती है depending on their tasks, on their roles, and on their responsibilities. So, in centralization, the authority stays with the top management. Here, the decisions that are made are very quick, but the flexibility is low, right? Then in decentralization, what happens is that the authority spreads to the lower level. Employees feel empowered and decisions are more adaptive. जैसे जैसे जरूरत होती है वैसे वैसे decisions लिए जाते हैं. So it is more adaptive. For example, there is a small family business and it works on the centralized manner wherein the owner makes all the decisions. Small organization में centralization definitely works. But a large company like Infosys will have to follow the decentralization because there are different departments and different activities that are happening within the organization. So a regional head takes the independent decision suited to the local needs of the employees and of the area. So again, the right balance depends on the size of the organization, nature of the organization, and the strategy of the organization. So let's again, there is generally a question in the examination wherein they ask the differentiate between centralization and decentralization. आप इसको बहुत अच्छे से elaborate कर सकते हो on the basis of three things. One is decision speed, second is control, and then you can give an example. So decision speed, of course, in centralized it is fast, but flexibility lacks. In decentralization, the speed is compromised, but flexibility is more. Then control, we see that in centralized system, the control is very strong. Why? Because there is only one person who is taking a decision. तो कुछ भी अगर होना है उस organization में तो पहले वो बंदा approve करेगा या बंदी approve करेगी तो ही वो काम हो पाएगा. Decentralization के केस में जो control है, क्योंकि different people are taking the decision, so the control is also shared among those people. Examples we had already discussed. Let's say centralized में military is the example where the decision is taken at one single point, and decentralization I have already talked about an MNC, let's say Infosys or TCS or the similar organization. Now let us understand the concept of span of control. Span of control means the number of people a manager can supervise effectively. What do you think? How many people can be managed by a single manager? Maybe you can give the answer in the comments. These span of control can be narrow or can be a wide span. When we say a narrow span, it allows close supervision but it increases the hierarchy level. अब इसमें नैरो स्पैन में क्या होता है कि सबऑर्डिनेट्स कम होते हैं. एक मैनेजर है, उसके अंदर 4 लोग हैं, सो सबऑर्डिनेट्स कम होंगे, क्लोज सुपरविजन होगा, लेकिन जो हायरार्कीज हैं वो बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाएंगी. कंपैरेटिवली वाइड स्पैन में क्या होता है, देयर आर मेनी सबऑर्डिनेट्स and it gives more freedom but it may reduce the control. इसमें closer supervision is not possible, right? So again, narrow span and wide span has its own pros and cons, but it depends on the size of the organization, similar to the concept of division of authority. There is a call center, one supervisor might handle 10 agents, that's a wide span. And another example is in a hospital ICU, one senior doctor may oversee only 2 residents. So it is a narrow span. So factors like complexity of work, employee competence and technology only determine the ideal span. Whether we need to have a narrow span or a wide span, there are different factors that would actually decide. As I said, that it could be work, it could be size of the organization, it could be employee competencies, it could be the technology that we are using. So here we finish the entire unit. Let us quickly summarize and take some exam tips that whatever we have learned in this entire session. We have talked and learned about organizing, and we say that organizing is structure plus authority plus coordination. Then we understood delegation and decentralization, improve efficiency. These are the expected questions that generally come in the examination. For example, explain the process and importance of organizing. Differentiate between authority and responsibility. What is centralization and decentralization? These questions generally comes in short answers or medium answers. Thank you for learning with BBA Simplified by Dr. Vinky Sharma. In the coming slides or in the coming video, we will be talking about Unit 4, Directing. Do like, share and subscribe for more marathon classes. Thank you students for watching the video.